What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Perfect Mess Podcast. I'm your host, Ray Molina, and this is episode 89. Let's talk about it. And today we're going to talk about perspective. Um, there's this, so I'm drinking McDonald's coffee. Not that I'm sponsored by McDonald's, but there's this McDonald's that I go to from time to time to grab a coffee. And like most cities nowadays, when you drive through these parking lots that have like their strip malls or whatever, and they have like food restaurants or whatever, you'll see uh, cars that people live out of. We're in some very difficult times right now. So there are a lot of people who live out of their cars. They park in these parking lots for however long they can stay until they get kicked out, and then they move to the next parking lot. But this parking lot in particular um, has probably about 6 or 7 people that I see there regularly that live there. Now, today I went and got my coffee as I'm working, and I pull out, and I'm driving slow because I'm trying to adjust my seatbelt, and then I'm fixing the tab on my coffee so I don't burn my mouth. And I come to almost a standstill, and I look to the right, and there's a guy one of the guys who lives out of his, it's like an old family van. But it's packed to the gill. He's got all kinds of stuff in there. You can see he's got pillows and blankets. And then he has a bike rack where he has bikes in the back. And this guy, I've seen him quite a few times. I think he repairs bikes for these guys that are the other guys that are homeless because I've seen him with other people fixing their bikes and then they go on about their way. So I think he kind of helps the other guys who ride their bikes around town, and he repairs them for them. But today I see him with a small plastic shovel and a broom, and he's sweeping around his car, sweeping the whole area around the front, around the side of the door, and I'm just watching him, and it really hit me in my heart because I think we lose, and I'm speaking for me, and I know somebody's listening, and you're gonna feel this as well. I think we go through life, and a lot of the times we forget, and we kind of just start coasting through life, right? And we forget to put things in perspective. We start thinking about the things that we don't have, the things that we lack, the money we don't have, the money we wish we had, the time we wish we had, the better car we wish we had, better place to live. All these things, right? We focus on the things that we don't have. And here I am watching this guy, and it hits me. He don't have much, but what he does have, he's going to make sure he takes care of. Now I know he wakes up every day in fear that he's probably going to have a ticket on his door that says that he needs to move, or he wakes up every day and knows that the local community police officer is going to stop by and say, "Hey, you've been here a few days, you got to move." I know every day that's a worry of his. But what I think he's doing is not only taking pride in his area and where he parks his car and where he really lives, but he's also doing it because if he shows that he's taking care of this area that he knows he's not supposed to be living at, maybe the cops, maybe the community officer will go a little bit easier on him because he's not just one of these guys throwing trash everywhere, going through the night, picking up random things and bringing them there and having piles of garbage and everything. This guy is literally taking care of his area. So if there's an opportunity that he can stay longer because he's taking care of the area, he'll get that opportunity. And it puts so much in perspective because I started thinking, when's the last guy this guy when's the last time this guy took a shower, When's the time this guy slept in a bed? When's the last time he had a home cooked meal? When's the last time, he was able to sit down on the couch and watch a TV show? When's the last time you had a hug? And everything just put everything in my life in perspective because, and I'm not saying I forgot where I'm at in my life. I'm sharing this with you because we need these reminders. We need things like this. If you're tuned in and you're paying attention to life and the things that are going on around you, you need these reminders, these subtle reminders to tell you, look at your life and be grateful and be thankful for everything that you have and quit worrying about what you don't have. Put everything in a better perspective so that every day you wake up, you can get after it. There's going to be some days that are going to suck. There's going to be some days that are great. There's going to be some days in the middle where you feel like, well, I'm getting through the day. It ain't the best day, it ain't the worst day, but I'm getting through it. All those things are going to happen. But when you put things in perspective, you have just enough gas in the tank to keep going. You know what I mean? And I'm telling you this because I started looking back on my past when I went through my situation in 2017, and I had to leave the home that my family lived in because I was now a divorced father. Um, and I start thinking now about where I was during that time. Um, I didn't have a whole lot. I still don't have a whole lot, but I have more than what I used to. Okay, like the saying goes, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm definitely not where I used to be, and that's the case here. So here's some perspective for you. When I left that place that I used to call home, I left un- no, not knowing where I was going to go. I just knew that I was going to take a chance on myself, and I opened up an office for my business. I didn't plan on staying there. I had an opportunity to rent a room out from somebody, uh, and I didn't. I opted out of it. Why? Because I'm a very stubborn person. Um, because I wanted to prove to myself that I could get through this without leaning on people. Um, Now, some may say that's a very stubborn thing to do. You should have gotten some help. Um, Others will say I commend you for that because that's how you build character. That's how you build strength. That's how you become a strong man. Is because you prove to yourself you can work through these things. So when I left, I opened my office for my business. Uh, I stayed there one night, and then one night led to another night, led to the next night, led to the next night, and as the story goes, if you've listened to my podcast from day one, I ended up being there for a few years, and I didn't have a shower there. I didn't have a kitchen. I didn't have any of that. What I had was a bathroom that we could use for the offices that was a community bathroom that just had a sink and a toilet so you can go to the restroom. Um, in that sense, there was running water in the sink. And I had a gym membership. So I would go to the gym and take a shower there. Now, there were nights that it was so hard for me because I was so stressed out about my situation, but I would keep telling myself, you will not be here forever. This is not your forever. You will not be here. Okay? You're not destined to be that guy who lives out of his office and takes showers at the gym every day. That's not you. That's you right now, but you will get through this. And I did. I spent some time doing that. And then you guys know when the pandemic hit, uh, it got even harder for me um, because there was no shower now because the gym shut down. You guys have all heard this story, and if you haven't, you need to go back to episode 26, please. If you're new to my podcast, go back and listen to episode 26. But then the pandemic hit, so then I was hit with another obstacle that I needed to learn and get through. So I figured out a way to get hot water from a bin, bring it into my office at night, lay down a plastic bin cover, a big one of those big Costco ones, lay it down on the floor so I didn't get the carpet wet, put a towel over it, and then I would bird bath every day. Yes, I was homeless. Yes, I didn't have a shower or things that kitchen to cook food or whatever. But what I did have, I was making work. I had a Coleman camping grill that I would use propane, and I would cook, eggs and rice and whatever it is I needed to eat. I would cook there. All right. Um, I had to be very careful because it wasn't a good. These are offices; they're not great for ventilation when it comes to cooking. So I always had to make sure that the windows were open and make sure I was doing it the right way. I didn't want to be that guy who burned down an office complex. You know what I mean? So all of these things I was doing, and besides a handful of people, nobody really knew that's how I was living. I'm sharing this all with you guys again because once you get past that and you make it through, because I did eventually make it through, um, and I was able to find a place to move into um, where the rent was something that was in my budget. I was able to change cars, got a better car in my opinion, more space, more room for all the activities I like to do with my kids and their friends and other people when we go hiking and do outdoor stuff. I was able to change all that. Um, when you get through all that, you almost you almost forget, and then you start thinking about what you don't have again. And I have done that. I've now been in this new place for 2 years, and I have caught myself saying, "This place is too small for me. I need a bigger place. Um, I don't know how I'm doing it here. You know, I got to do this. This isn't like what so and so has. I need to get that because this I need to prove to my kids that I can do better than this." And they're getting older, and I catch myself doing that. I haven't done it recently, but I have done it. And this goes back to perspective. And I'm sharing this with you because you have to get reminders like the reminder that I got today that tells you, bro, stop complaining about what you don't have and start taking care of what you have right now. Just like that guy who's taking care of what he has right now. I have to take care of what I have right now. And what I have right now, I should be very proud of. There are a lot of people who live in this area, the Silicon Valley, that cannot survive out here because it is so expensive, because it is probably top three most expensive areas to live in the country. It is that expensive here. And the fact that me, a single father, uh, helping to raise two boys with their mother, is surviving out here with next to no family, no one to lean on, no one to say, hey, can you loan me money? Hey, can you help me out? Hey, this, hey, that. No one with anything like that that I can survive out here. I need to be proud of that because something I'm doing is working. Perspective. I'm here. I'm not struggling. I'm surviving. And maybe my current spot that I have isn't as big as I want it to be. Maybe I don't have the room that I want. Maybe I don't have a room or space for my kids that I want. But what I do have is a shower, running water, a space for my kids to sleep, a space for me to sleep, a heater, a place to wash my clothes, to dry my clothes, a place to hang my clothes, a place to have Christmas like I just did, a place to put a tree up, to put the lights up, a place that I can call my own, a place that I can wake up in the morning and pray and tell God, thank you. Perspective. That's what it's all about. I love you guys. I hope this hit home, and if it did, please share it with somebody.